Today is Tuesday, Parashat Ki Tetze. There are many mitzvot in the parasha of this week, but one of the mitzvot here is in this pasuk, Lo tir'eh et chamor achicha o shoro nofelim baderech. You must not see your brother's donkey or his ox fallen under their load on the road. V'it'alamta mehem, and you ignore them. You should not ignore them. Hakem takim imo. Rather, you must surely pick up the load with him. You see that a person is trying to pick up a load that fell off from his donkey, or the donkey sort of like crouched and the load needs to be picked up. You have an obligation not to stay aloof, not to stay indifferent. You have the mitzvah to assist and help that person to load up that animal, to put the load onto the animal, to help him in that physical effort that he's trying to do. It'll be easier when two people are together doing it. He may not even be able to do it on his own. That's called mitzvah te'ina, the mitzvah of helping someone put a load on an animal. And it doesn't speak just about animals and about physical loads. It could be also extended to any situation where you see that somebody needs some assistance, some help. He has difficulty carrying the load. You have an obligation to not stay indifferent, but rather to put your hand in and help together. And of course, the Mefarshim, the commenters, explain, it says, Hakem takim imo, together with him. And the person whose load it is should not just sit down and tell you, okay, you do it. No, rather, you help him in that project of loading up the animal. In another place in the Torah, it speaks about prika. Prika is unloading. So if you see a donkey that has a difficulty carrying the load, and somebody is trying to unload, you help. You help the person unload the animal. And if a load is too heavy, even for a person, needs to unload it, it could be extended to any situation that you're there to help a person unload. So therefore we have here in the Torah two mitzvot. One mitzvah of prika, which is unloading, which is mentioned in Sefer Shemot, and mitzvah te'ina, which is loading up, which is in this parasha of this week. Now, questions arises sometimes. What mitzvah do you give priority to? You're walking down the street and you see someone trying to unload an animal and the other person trying to load up the animal. Which one do you give preference to? Well, it's obvious to unload because the animal is suffering under its load, and the Tzar Baalei Chaim were concerned about the suffering of any creature, even animals, and therefore I would give priority to the person who's trying to unload his animal, because the one who's trying to load up can wait. But the one who's trying to unload, there's some distress there, some difficulty for the animal, and you need to assist him faster. And so priority would be to unload the animal first before you help the other guy who needs to load up the animal. While the Gemara in Masechet Baba Metzia says there is one exception. If the person who needs to load up his animal you do not get along with, it's somebody that you have some bad feelings towards, you have some problem, emotional, some kind of a discord or some kind of situation with that person, then that person who needs to load up the animal would take precedence and you would help him first, because through your help to him, you might come to have better feelings toward him. And this teaches us an incredible concept that Maimonides speaks about it in general, that halev olech ahar ma'aseh, that the heart and the emotions of a person go after his actions, they follow his actions. So if you help someone, if you give to someone, you'll bring in good feelings towards that person, and if there were bad feelings, you will improve them to bring them into a good person, a good feeling, because you're helping that person. That action of helping has an impact on the psyche of the person, has an impact on the emotions of the person. And maybe that explains why we have so many mitzvot in the Torah. Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu lizakot et Yisrael. Hashem wanted to give merit to Am Yisrael, or even the zakot to purify. Lefichach hirba lahem Torah mitzvot. That's why He gave them many Torah, many mitzvot, many actions. So because as you do active mitzvot, as you apply yourself, then it has an influence on you. And in this case of mitzvot, it connects you even more and better to Hashem. So don't underestimate the value of actions. Even if you need to unload some animal that is suffering, but there is somebody human there that you don't get along with and needs to load up, giving preference. And the more you do for that person, the better your feelings for him will be. And this was an idea from the parasha of this week. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.